Call a regular monthly meeting of Rockwood City Council to order. This time I'd ask that you stand for the prayer of Councilman Evans and remain standing for the pledge. Councilman Evans.
Thank you, Mayor. Father, we thank you again today. It's a beautiful day you've created. We rejoice. We're glad in it. Thank you for our city. Thank you for our workers. Protect them. Keep them safe. Thank you for our mayor and council as we deliberate tonight's meeting, the issues that face us. We make good, critical decisions that are beneficial to our citizens and to, again, all that come into our town. And again, pray for blessings and safety and security upon the people. Bless this meeting tonight. We ask in Christ's name, amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call roll, please.
Councilman Anderson.
Here.
Councilman Evans.
Here.
Councilman Freeman.
Here.
Councilman Rowland.
Here.
Councilman Holloway.
Here.
Councilman Long. Here. Mayor Miller.
Here. All present, we do have a quorum. You received the minutes from the September 26, 2016 meeting. Is there any additions or corrections? If I hear none, I hear a motion to be approved.
Make a motion we approve.
Motion by Councilman Freeman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Holloway. Councilman Freeman, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Councilman Holloway?
No, sir.
Anyone? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next item is presentation and approval of financials. You received those, also received those in your packet. Do I hear a motion that they be approved?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Evans. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Long. Councilman Evans, will you yield to Ms. Ruppy? Ms. Ruppy.
Yes, you should have a copy of all the bank statement information you'll see on page 1. We didn't talk about it a lot at last month's meeting, and I'm not going to talk about it a lot tonight, except to say that we had a couple of our vendor checks stolen, and it's currently under investigation, and so I'm not going to discuss it, but we had to open a new general fund, and if you'll see there, as of September the 30th, we had $16,722.18 in the old general fund. That account was set up to receive all of our grant money, lots of things go in there direct deposit. So we're going to have to keep it open for like the next 6 months to let things come into it, but nothing can be written out of it. So today we had about $18,400 in there, and we asked them to transfer $18,000. You'll see that on next month's report. So as money comes in, the bank will transfer that for us. But the 2 checks that were stolen were minimum. They were not large amounts of money, but it is being investigated. And maybe we'll have a report on that next month. So in the new account, we have $286,838.92 at the end of September. In the reserve, we used $230,000 for all of our debt payments, our TML, our liability insurance, our fire truck payment, and several other things. You can see that on the statement that goes with it, leaving that at a balance of $20,706. In the special revenue fund, which is our grant fund, we have $102,684.24. In our TVA fund, we have $46,700. Our payroll fund, $314.33. Road fund, $46,163.59. State Street aid, $34,386.58. Airport, $14,035.18. And in our small drug fund, we have $2,957.54. And you should have a copy of where we are at this time on our budget. You have the revenue showing that at the end of September, we had only taken in 13.4% and had spent 26%, but what you don't see there is we stayed 2 months behind on like our state sales tax. So like at the end of the year in June, the next 2 checks we get in are 2 months behind, so they have to be moved into the previous year. So it looks like we've spent more than we've taken in, but we really haven't. The department heads are doing good at staying within their limits. I think every department is where they should be right now or lower. which is 33%. If anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Councilman Evans.
How close are we get to retiring the debt on the municipal complex loan that we had years ago? Is it not this year?
One of them, the debt for this one will be next year, the Bercadia loan for the city hall and the complex. We got one payment this year and one in the next fiscal year. And then the Walmart and the complex is like in 24, 25. Our debt's getting very close to 2 million or less.
I think.
Councilman Holloway.
I just got a question on this airport fund. We not take in anything during the month of September, the airport?
The T-hanger rent goes into the general fund.
Okay.
The only thing that goes in this airport fund is just special. Really, this airport fund was open for no other reason but grants. And the only active grant we have up there right now is that little maintenance grant that's only about $10,000. So you will not see deposits go in there.
One other question on that airport fund. Sales of fuel, we get anything off of that?
Yes, we do. We only get it like 2 times a year, so you'll see that. It's like 2 months out of the year.
Okay.
But all the T-hanger rent goes into the general fund.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? Call roll.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Freeman?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilwoman Long?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is public comments. We always like to allow anyone that wants to address the mayor and council that you can do it now. We ask that you state your name and address. This will be the last time you'll be allowed to address the mayor and council unless a council member yields the floor to you during some other discussion. Anyone? Yes, sir. Mr. Dennis.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate y'all. John Dennis, 416 West Wheeler Street. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited that I got to vote for the President of the United States, and what an opportunity we have coming up. I hope you all have the same excitement that I do. Thomas Jefferson once said, I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. We're living in a pretty dangerous time right now when our freedom hangs at stake. So I just want to express a few things that the candidate that I endorsed for President of the United States is one that believes in a reduced size of government, especially the federal government, and believes in term liability and has a plan to reduce our federal debt. This candidate doesn't have much truth, but I believe they felt a little bit more of the truth personally, despite all the rhetoric. This person, I believe, is a defender of our constitutional rights and a protector, one who believes in protecting our borders and drugs and arms and terrorism. This candidate is pro-life. This candidate loves our country and believes in a free enterprise system. This candidate believes that immigrants that come into this country should love this country as we do. We have the same openness that we have and the same willingness to serve as we do. This candidate speaks with passion of personal liberty and law and order. This candidate took the slums of New York City and built high-rises and towers and put thousands of people to work. Our cities under the system existing now are disintegrating and becoming ghost towns. I'd love to see somebody with a business ethic to come in and be able to put a little punch back in our cities so we can have a hooray for Harriman and a hooray for Rockwood and more power to the states, less federal power, more state power. We need to get that, have our government balanced a little more. We've had I believe we'll have 10 years of plenty, in the years to come, regardless of who's elected president of the United States. But my concern is if we continue on the course we're going right now, that our Constitution is on the verge of being severed. And if it is, in the following years, after 10 years, I don't know what's going to happen, but I believe it's going to be hellacious for our children and grandchildren. And I want to conclude with saying something we all agree on. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light up above. From the mountains to the prairie, to the ocean white with foam. God bless America, our home sweet home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dennis. Anyone else? Again, we'd like to thank everyone for coming. Next item on the agenda, we get to recognize two people. This is the good part of being mayor of the city of Rockwood. First of all, I'd like to ask Dwayne Gray to please come forward. It says in recognition of Rockwood Police Department Detective Dwayne Gray for exceptional completion of the TBI State Academy from Mayor Miller, members of the City Council, Rockwood PD, and all employees. We appreciate what you've done, and this is outstanding accomplishment, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It's a little late.
Josh Round. In recognition of Rockwood Police Department Detective Josh Reimer for exceptional completion of the TBI State Academy, from Mayor Miller, members of the City Council, Rockwood PD, and all employees, we congratulate you. Great accomplishment. We sure do appreciate it. Appreciate both of you. Thank you so much. Committee reports from council. Anyone have any tonight?
I would just like to say that Parks and Rec, that we're kind of slowing down at the complex. Soccer's over, and baseball and softball, we're gearing up for basketball's coming real soon. And I'd also, not really recreation, but like everybody to keep in mind our children on Halloween night. Watch out for all of them.
Anyone else?
Quick note.
Councilman Evans.
Thank you. Water, gas, and sewer meets tomorrow night, which will be on the 25th at the water plant, 6 o'clock, not here in this building.
6 o'clock.
Down there, if you haven't been to the plant in a while, it'll be a good chance to come down there. We have got Daniel Peterson come out to discuss gas rates. There's no indication they're going up, at least on my watch, I hope. But that's going to be a discussion tomorrow night down there. Everything is pretty well flowing as it should.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you all. No old business. Moving on to new business. Ordinance 1224, the ordinance providing for a discount for early payment on property tax. This will be first reading. What this basically is like we did last year, the State Comptroller's Office has said that you have to set this date every year, and we need to get this set, and this gives them a little more time because our cards are not here yet, but should be here any day. So I'd like to recommend to the council that we approve this because this helps our citizens. What's the will of the council? So moved. Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Jolly. Councilman Holloway, do you have anything? No, sir. Councilman Jolly.
Yes, sir.
Anyone?
One quick note here.
Councilman Evans.
Is this the ordinance?
Yes.
Don't we have this in place already, or did we not last?
No, we have to do it. We did last year. You have to do it every year, correct?
By ordinance, correct?
Normally, we used to do it just for the month of October, yes, by ordinance according to the city attorney.
Every
But
year?
the last 2 years, we don't know when the cards are gonna come out, so we just wanna give the citizens 30 days from
Sure.
the date, no matter what that date may be.
Just didn't I understand why we have to do ordinances every year on that.
Because the last 2 years have been days that we didn't know what they were. They said, the first ordinance said October, well, they're not gonna come out in October, so we have to specify.
Is the ordinance like a law?
An ordinance is something that's intended to be permanent.
Anyone else? Call her up.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Freeman?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Lamont?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is ordinance 1225, an ordinance amending section 13-208 Rockwood Municipal Code. Mr. Lefevre.
This pertains to the section of the code that deals with the demolition of these properties that are violating the code. And section 13-208 authorizes the lien for the expenses that the city incurs in demolishing these properties. But it says that the only way to enforce the lien is to add it to the tax bill, and you auction the property off with the lien at the tax sale. What we have proposed is that we amend section 13-208 to give us another way of enforcing this lien. And that would be to have an auction just for the particular piece of property separate and apart from the tax sale. So basically what we would do, the building inspector would issue a demolition order. We take it to Chancery Court and get the Chancellor to authorize the city to demolish, as we have been doing. And then once the city demolishes, then we go back to Chancery Court in the same case and ask the Chancellor to authorize the Clerk and Master to sell this one piece of property to satisfy the lien. It would give us a much more expedient way of enforcing this lien and trying to get some money back to the city.
You've heard the explanation by the city attorney. What's the will of the council?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Evans, it be approved. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Freeman. Councilman Evans.
Just very briefly, I think it's all right. On a point of order, are we not supposed to get a motion second before we start discussion on any item on this agenda?
It's not, it wasn't a discussion by any council member. It was the city attorney. Yeah.
It was in lieu of me reading it word for word.
Enough said.
Councilman Freeman.
Nothing other than what the attorney said. I think it's a good thing to where we can try to clean up properties, get money in return.
Anything further? Call her up.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Freeman?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Lamont?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. The next three items, C, D, and E, are all asking for demolition of certain structures. I'd like to ask that you all make a motion to defer these three till we get that one that we just did on second and final reading, because at the advice of the city attorney, if we don't, those three can't fall under this if we do them tonight. So if we put them off till next month, after we get second and final reading, we'll be able to get our money back quicker. So I'd ask for a motion that we defer C, D, and E. And, yes, C, D, and E.
I'd like to make a motion to defer.
Got a motion to defer C, D, and E. Do we have a second? Second by motion by Councilman Jolly, second by Councilman Anderson. No discussion on motion to defer. Call her up.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Freeman?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Lamont?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is Resolution 1721, a resolution to enter in a joint bid agreement with Rome County for delinquent tax sale properties within the corporate limits of Rockwood. Mr. Lefevre, would you like to explain this, please?
Yes. By law, we're supposed to be having tax sales. City of Rockwood's never had tax sales.
So we broke the law.
City of Harriman just had its first ever this past weekend. City of Kingston has never had one, and they have joined with the Rome County to do a joint sale. They've executed a similar agreement as the one attached to this resolution. And the reason we're doing this is because the clerk and master has pretty much told all the cities that she wants these delinquent taxes off her books, and we have got to have some tax savings. So there are two ways of doing it. We can do our own tax sale, or we can join with the county and join in their tax sale and have one tax sale instead of competing. But if we join in with the county, we have to address the properties in the city of Rockwood that have both delinquent county taxes and delinquent city taxes. And here is the law on these properties as I understand it. If we have a separate tax sale, county is to have their tax sale first. If nobody buys the property at the county tax sale, then the county bids it in and they become the owner. But we can still have our tax sale after that. And we can sell the same property at the tax sale. If nobody buys it at our tax sale, then we bid it in and we become a joint owner with the county. The property will be owned by the city of Rockwood and by the county, joint. And then we have to figure out between county commission and city council what to do with these properties and how to get rid of them. So what this agreement does is it says that instead of us having a separate tax sale and dealing with these properties separately, we're going, if you pass this, we're going to join with the county and have a tax sale jointly with the county. Any properties that have both delinquent county taxes and delinquent city taxes, the clerk and master will enter a joint bid on behalf of the city of Rockwood and the county. And the city of Rockwood and the county will become joint owners of the property. The county will sell the property, so we don't have to inventory these properties and set up procedures to sell the property. We're relying on the county to sell the property. If the sale price does not bring enough to pay the joint taxes, then we'll divide it proportionately, any money between the city and the county. If the county tax bill is 60% of the total tax bill and the city's tax bill is 40%, then any proceeds would be divided 60% to the county, 40% to the city. It also states that we will be jointly responsible with the county for maintaining these properties. Now, under the law, once a government entity bids these properties in, then the risk of loss passes to the government entity. That's why when we had the fire in Harriman, Rome County wound up having to cover the damage of that building because Rome County had to bid that property in tax sale. Now this agreement states that if there are any damages caused by these jointly owned properties, then we'll each be responsible jointly. And the allocation of damages is the same as in the example that I just gave you. If the delinquent tax bill on the property is $1,000,
The county part is 600, city part is 400, then the risk of loss would be split 60% to the county, 40% to the city. But that's the downside of having a tax sale and having to bid in these properties. Now, if we had a separate tax sale and we bid them in, then we're still jointly liable with the county on any properties that the county wound up buying in their tax sale, because the risk of loss is still divided among the two governmental owners, or between the two governmental owners. So, but that's the downside of having a tax sale and bidding in on a property, is you do have to deal with the responsibilities for the property.
You've heard the explanation for this resolution. What's the will of the council?
Motion for discussion. Oh,
Councilwoman Long makes a motion that we approve it. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Evans. Councilwoman Long, do you have anything? Councilman Evans.
How many properties are we looking at right now? Anybody know? Do we know that?
I don't have an updated list, but we've got a whole slew that we're getting ready to get, that we're getting ready to file suit on the first of next year. We don't have a great deal of properties right now because people have been paying the taxes, and we have been getting taxes paid as the county has sold the property. So we don't have a big list right now, but we will be getting some after the first of the year.
Can you give, as a advisor and counselor, which way you think we should go with this, or do you have an opinion since you're the county attorney?
Well, my opinion is that this would be in our best interest simply because we don't have to go through the burden of selling the property.
Right.
Our liabilities are pretty much the same regardless of whether we enter into this, because we're going to have a tax sale. Once we have a tax sale, whatever we bid in, we are responsible for any liabilities associated with that property. If the county's already bid the property in at their tax sale, then we are jointly responsible for the county as the two governmental owners. So it doesn't really change the liability aspect of it. You know, the best thing that could happen to the city is to never have a tax sale, but we are going to have a tax sale.
With legislation pending next year that may change some laws depending on how you have to bid on these properties.
There's some legislation pending, and there was some legislation passed that gives you a window after the tax sale to withdraw your bid. So we will have that benefit of the law. We've got about 90 days after the tax sale to examine these properties, and if we feel like that there are risks with them, we can ask the chancellor to allow us to withdraw our bid. Now, we have to convince the chancellor that he should allow us to withdraw our bid. We can't just come to court and say we don't want this property, but if we can show reasons that we impose a financial risk, then the chancellor is supposed to allow us to withdraw our bid.
And that could be in place next year.
That's in place now.
It is in place now.
Now,
And
I
it's
don't know
still-
what the legislature's going to do with it over the course
Right.
of the next year, but it is in place now.
Final question, Mr. Mayor. 60-40 is the deal, right?
No, that was just an example. Everything is split based on the percentage of taxes owed. Now, generally, the county taxes are higher than city taxes, so you would think that the county would have more of a dollar amount invested in the property than we would as far as taxes. But the liability is based on the total percentage of taxes owed. So if there's a property where more taxes are owed to the city of Rockwood than to Roane County, then
the city of Rockwood will have a greater share of responsibility than the county for the property.
Anyone else? Councilman Freeman?
Only time the city or the county would bid in on this is if you don't have a bid that meets the tax obligation. Would that be right?
That's correct.
So really, we may not have as many bids from the city because somebody may bid higher and we would just get our share of the profit.
Right, and an advantage to this is if we go with the county on the county tax sale, there are going to be more bidders there than what we would draw. So you're going to have more potential purchasers there.
Now also, if there's, like you mentioned in Harriman, the county had to pay for all that cleanup. If we bid in with the county on a piece of property and we wanted to demolish and clean up the property before any problems arose, we would have to give the county officials to be able to clean up, and we'd still, the cleanup cost would be based on whatever percentage.
Right, that's just like if you wind up with one of these properties and you and the county become the owner, and then it's determined that this property is hazardous and needs to be demolished, then the city of Rockwood would have to chip in its share of the demolition costs. So that's just what I'm saying, like, you know, it would be nice for the cities to never have a tax sale, but we are going to have a tax sale.
And if the county taxes are paid and the only thing owed is the city,
Then we're the sole owner of the tax sale if we bid it in.
right. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Councilman John?
I would just like to know, we're talking about all this cleanup. Say we had one that we had to be cleaned up here, who would enforce it? Would the county say, we're gonna clean this up, or is there some kind of agreement that
Well,
what we couldn't afford?
under this agreement, the county pretty much manages the property, so.
So they could be sitting on a lot of money for cleanup and say, we're gonna clean this, this, and this up, you have to.
That's one of the provisions of this agreement.
Let's say that again. Say that again.
Well, under this agreement, if you all adopt it, the county manages the property, so.
But if the property's cleaned up, then they have to do their part of it.
They have to do their part, and you have to do your part. So,
Well, if I understood what you're saying is if the county doesn't want cleaned up, then it doesn't get cleaned up.
well,
Yes.
you could potentially clean it up and send the bill to the county for their part under this, but the way this agreement is constructed, and this was drafted by Sandy McPherson, the county's delinquent tax attorney, the way this agreement is constructed is the county pretty much manages the properties rather than the city.
Anything else, Councilman John? No, sir. Anyone else? What, if we do this, what we basically have done is we don't have to fool with the tax sale that you're saying we're gonna have to have. Is that correct? They do all the work.
Well, a tax sale, the clerk and master does all the work for everybody pretty much. What the work would be after the tax sale. After the tax sale, if we have our own separate tax sale, after the tax sale, we're going to have to go out and evaluate these properties and see if there are any financial or risks or hazards that may justify us asking the court to be relieved of our bids. Then for the properties that we have to keep, there's a 1-year redemption period where the taxpayer or any other interested person can come back and pay the taxes and get their property. We have to maintain the property during that 1-year period, which basically means that we have to keep it from deteriorating. If the roof's leaking, we're required to stop the leak. And during that, and once that
tax sale is over with, the risk of loss to the property passes to us. So if there's a fire and it damages the neighboring properties, we're responsible. If there's a fire and there's debris to be removed, we're responsible. And then after that 1 year period is over with, we're required to market these properties that we have to bid in and try to sell them. The advantage of this agreement is the county does all that and we don't have to. The disadvantage of this agreement is if there is a loss, we have to pay our part. But if we had a separate tax sale, we would still have to pay our part.
We'd have to do the, we wouldn't have to do the full bill either way though.
You shouldn't have to do the full bill either way on properties that are bid in by the city and the county, regardless of whether they're bid in at the same sale or not.
And let me ask you another question. Why all of a sudden are we having to have a tax sale when we hadn't in 100 years?
Because the clerk and master is insisting that the cities have a tax sale. Now, if we don't have a tax sale, there is a procedure under the law where the chancellor can have your delinquent tax attorney removed from the case, which is me, and appoint somebody to prosecute the case and have a tax sale. So there's, they can strong arm us into having a tax sale if they want to. But now by law, we're supposed to be having them. It's just no cities in Roane County ever have.
And the reason this has probably come is because what happened in Harriman.
No, this was in the works before what happened at Harriman. This is something that we've been working for several years, is having a city tax sale, simply because the city taxes are not getting collected and the clerk and master wants them off her books. And she's just doing her job.
Sure, I understand.
We do our job.
Mayor, I have one final question, if you're finished.
Councilman Evans.
It's quick. So they're suggesting, that's the reason we got this in front of us, is because the clerk and master's office says, look, if they don't want to have a tax sale, we'll assist them with a tax sale.
No, that's not why this is.
Who brought this up to our attention?
This is something that the county's delinquent tax attorney, Sandy McPherson, drew up to. His goal was to have one tax sale for the entire county. Now, Harriman didn't join in, and of course you have to decide whether you want to join it or not.
Sure.
But we're going to be having a tax sale regardless of whether we join in or not.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask one question.
Hold on just a second. Councilman Hall.
Is every county gonna have to do this through Tennessee, right?
Well, I don't know what's going on in other counties. I know a lot of cities have tax sales. It's just the cities in Roane County never have. Until this weekend when Harriman had its tax sale.
So there's not an agreement out there in another county that would might better suit us. We don't know, right?
Okay, I don't know. I knew when Mr. McPherson drew this up, he drew on what some other cities and counties in the state are doing. Y'all can agree to whatever you want to agree to. This is what's been proposed, and you all don't have to accept it, and you can come back with another alternative if that's what you want to do. But this is what's been proposed, and this is what's been presented to all the other cities.
Anything else, Councilman Hall?
No.
Councilman Freeman.
A while ago, Mr. Leckie, you said if the roof leaks, we were required to fix the leak. A lot of these properties may be in real bad shape, so we have to first evaluate what needs to be fixed. And the owner has 1 year to redeem the property. If we go with this and we bid in a piece of property and we spend X number of dollars on repairing and fixing it, would he not have to pay us back for whatever we did?
He
Plus,
has to pay us back, and when I say fix it, we're not supposed to fix it up to code, it's just we have to keep it, during this 1 year period, we have to keep it from deteriorating. What we have to do, what the statutes say, is to prevent waste, which means if the roof's leaking, we gotta put a tarp over it so it doesn't leak anymore. If the windows are broken, we gotta board them up. But we've got to do minimal maintenance during this year to prevent waste.
okay. I've heard in the past that if you redeem a piece of property, you have to pay 2% above prime.
I'd have to look at the statute, I didn't look at it, but there is some interest, as I recall, that goes on the money that's paid, and that they do have to reimburse us for whatever maintenance costs.
What you're saying is we're gonna have a tax sale whether we join in with this or not.
Yeah, we're going to, unless y'all fire me and get somebody that's not gonna have one, but I've been told to have one, so we're gonna have one.
And basically what it comes down to, we can join in with the county and let them do the majority of the work. And the only problem I have with this is, and I don't know how the rest of you feel about it, the idea of them managing the property. And what bothers me about that is not that I don't trust them to do it right, is that if we need an area cleaned up, and the example is one up here on the corner of Front Street, right before you go across the Tedder Bridge. They've already got that. And for us to get that cleaned up, we had to call them, and then they had to get someone to do it. And that bothers me.
If you bid it in a tax sale, you're a co-owner, so, you know, you can clean it up too. I mean,
Right, but you just said, it says in there that they manage it. I'm not gonna clean something up till the manager tells me I can't. Because I don't wanna clean it up and them say, you didn't get permission from us, so I'm not paying for it.
If that's a concern, then this agreement should probably be reworded to cover that concern before you all vote on it, so.
But the other side of that is, if we don't join in with this, then we're gonna have to have a tax sale.
You're going to have a separate tax sale.
And that's exactly right. And that's a lot of work to get that ready. I know she's gonna still do it, but after the fact is when the work's gonna start.
The work comes in after the fact when the properties start coming in.
And then we've got to start going out and looking at it, appraising it, and doing those type of things, which means Harold's gonna have a lot more work in front of him.
But if you're uncomfortable with the wording of this agreement, you probably don't need to vote on it. You need to amend it to say whatever to cover any concerns that you have.
Can we co-manage?
Okay, we got a motion on the floor. Is there any amendments to the motion, or are we ready to vote? Any more discussion?
Well, I'll make an amendment to the motion since or Ms. Long made it, if possible, to send this back for further review and bring it back next month. I don't think it's something we need to, this much discussion needs to be a workshop on something like this. I'm not ready to vote on this tonight.
Okay, then we need a motion to defer.
A motion to defer.
Got a motion to defer by Councilman Evans. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Freeman. Call roll.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Freeman?
Yes.
Councilman Jordan?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilwoman Long? Yes. Mayor Miller?
Yes. Would like to say that we need to make sure that we have a work session between now and next month's meeting. And do you think Mr. McPherson would be willing to come?
You'll let me know when, I will invite him to come.
Okay. Ms. Ruppy, will you make sure that we make a note on that so we can, we sit down and discuss this? I think this is something we need to look at strong.
Could we possibly do it following our special call meeting since everybody already be here?
May be able to.
When is that? November 7th?
Okay. Next item is fall quarter budget amendments. We have two of those, as you see in your packet. I think it's two. Do I hear a motion to be approved so we can get on the floor for discussion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Jolly. Councilman Holloway?
No, I'm gonna give it to Becky, let her explain the amendments.
The first one we had was where we built a viewing stand down at the soccer fields. Our inmate labor built that, and the Rockwood High School Booster Club and Rockwood High School baseball. That also included some turf improvements we did. Even though high school uses our fields, they're still city fields. So anything that we do to improve them, they donate to us. So they gave us $3,270 to go toward those two projects, and that's adding that to the Park and Rec budget. The second one, as you all are aware, there's several very instrumental folks in our community that's already planning our Rockwood's 150th birthday. It's not till 2018, but there's a lot of work to be done. And our industrial board, Rockwood 2000, and just this week somebody else gave us a donation to start letting them sell things and make buy items to sell, and we're going to do that through the city. So this just creates a budget for Rockwood 150, and it creates an expense line item for them to spend money out of, and we'll keep track of that for them here. And they meet every fourth Thursday of every month at 6 o'clock, and they would love to have members of the city council to attend.
Anyone else? Who had the second?
Jolly.
Anyone else? Do you have anything else, Councilman Holloway?
No.
Call her up.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Freeman?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Moe?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Comments? Councilman Evans?
Trick or treat hours, do we set those by council rule?
I'm fixing to here just a minute.
So, yeah, be safe out there. Everyone's a good Halloween, and I think that's,
Hello.
soccer team done well this year and didn't make it last night, but, you know, Green was a tough team. All the sports teams done real well. Rockwood getting back in it. They ain't out yet. Appreciate everybody's help and working, the assistants and the chiefs and everybody. They did a roadblock up the other night, Friday night, and I came through it. Took me to jail, and no, I'm just kidding. But the chief was out there, and our officers done a good job with that saturation roadblock, so we appreciate them for that. It gives us some GHSO money. It's always good to get.
Thank you, Councilman Freeman.
Everybody needs to remember Halloween and the trick-or-treaters, and we all need to be careful and try to support that. And nobody needs to wear a clown out.
No clowns.
But in our packet, we did get a lot of press releases and the National Business Women's Week and Morristown Marina Impact Statement here, so all of that looks real good, and a lot of people in the city don't realize all these things going on, but that's some good things happening here in the city. That's all I got.
Councilwoman Long. Councilman Holloway.
Yeah.
Councilman Anderson.
No.
Councilman Jolly. Okay, well I do. Okay, Halloween, Monday, October 31st from 5 to 8 p.m. Chief, we will have plenty of law enforcement out that night.
Every officer we have, except for one, will be here.
Okay. We need to caution everyone to drive safely and watch these kids. It's a big night for them, and we need to be very, very careful. The council meeting in November, I want to move it to the 21st of November, if it's all right with all the council, because where it's scheduled now will be the day after we come back from Thanksgiving break. So I'd like to move it up to the 21st if there's no problem with any council members. Christmas dinner this year, we're going to have it at the community center on Thursday, December the 8th at 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock. December the 8th at 6 o'clock. It's on a Thursday at the community center. I'd like to move the December meeting to the 19th if there's no objections, because we will be closed on the 26th. City Hall will be. So I'd like to move it to the 19th of December, if there's no problem.
Won't be for three of them anyway.
Then on
Well, two of them, I'm sorry, Jason.
November the 7th, we will have a special called meeting at 6 o'clock to do the second and final reading on some of these things we approved tonight. One will be the early payment for the real property tax, to give them the discount. We've got to get that done, and anything else we may want to add, but we'll get that out. All right, and now some other things I just want to let you know, probably in the next 2 months or 3 months, we will have, through this home grant that we got, we'll have a house on Trinity, 2 houses on Chamberlain, and 1 on Ridge will be, one on Chamberlain, 1 on Ridge, and 1 on Dunlap will be completed and fixed up, which will be great for those people and great for our community. It's $220,000 worth of grant money. If there's any left over, if there's enough to do another house, they will do that. So that will be something that we can look forward to. You got your press release from the chief and the Rockwood Police Department on the extra steps we're taking dealing with drugs, and appreciate the hard work and time that they put in. Let's see what else. There's some more stuff here. Let me get through all this. Oh yeah, I wanted to go over, I just wanted to let y'all know that right now we've got 4 more houses that are either being tore down at this time or will be by next council meeting. We've got 2 on Chamberlain, 1 on Kingston Avenue, and 1 on Trinity. So that'll be 4 more that we will have down and cleaned up, ready to go. That'll put us to almost 40, right, Harold? And we'll get these others in the works, and there's some more. I do want to tell you that all these are not city. I mean, all these are not us doing it. A lot of people, because of the hard work of Harold, have got their own permits and are doing them themselves. So this movement is starting to get some legs under it, and people are starting to do it on their own. So that's another good thing for our town. So we're going to keep moving on this, and it's made some people mad, but I think it's made a lot of people happy that we would be able to get this done. So just want to let you know about those 4, 2 on Chamberlain, 1 on Kingston Avenue, and 1 on Trinity. That should be complete. I think the 1 on Chamberlain, 1 of them on Chamberlain probably is complete today or tomorrow. And the other 3 should be complete before we meet again in November. So just something else I wanted to bring to your attention. I wanted to thank all our employees for the time and effort that they're putting in and the hard work. We're getting a lot of things done, and I appreciate them. I know it's tough on them at times, and one thing has slowed down the mowing, because we sure haven't had any rain, so that's helped us some. So again, I'd like to thank all our department heads and all of our employees for all the work that they put in. The other people I want to thank is this council. You all have put in a lot of time and effort. You've done a good job, and you've seen where we've had problems, and you've tried to address them, and I appreciate your support on those things, and it's doing nothing but helping the people that we work for, and that's the citizens of this community. So I appreciate all the time and effort that y'all put in. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second? Second by Councilwoman Long. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? And of course there'd be none.